Hey yo, what's up? We're back. August 19th is what we're looking at, and we're continuing bearish. Or we are in a bearish situation at this time. Kind of defeated this. We were talking about this yesterday. Closed past half of this with the daily candle. We were talking about this breaker right here, and actually I have to refresh this to get my kind of added a couple things maybe. Took a couple things off. Stretch it out again. Oh, yeah, those are all my entries. That was my entry today, which is pretty okay. Again, this is not a funded account. This is a paper trading account, which in the last 4 weeks, or maybe a little bit over 4 weeks now, I got up to 110K. So I'm ready to jump in the mix again. SET recommends to kind of get out in that paper trading situation and kind of just get things boring a little bit. And I feel like I'm there. Of course, the nerves are always present, which I'm curious to see how I handle it this time around, right? Yeah, so I got a TradeFi account. Thinking about trading it tomorrow if we get anything good. We're in the 1 hour now. All right, yep, we got that good. So we'll go back to the day just to start it off. I'm going to try to do a little bit better job. There's two things. Oh, I want to see the real trading hours action every day. And I want to do a little bit better of a progressive job going through the time. All right. So I want to okay, what time is it? This happened, and then just work through the day like that. Okay, so here we go. I got 2 subscribers. One's my friend, and I don't know who the other one is. It's probably myself. Oh, man. Anyways, this is the daily candle. Big old red son of a biscuit. I talked about this 1 hour breaker. I was auto to go there, and it did. There was some resistance here, but it was futile. In the end, it ended up just getting blown out. Cool. So what are we going to do now? We're going to go to the 4 hour, see what we see there. And we really, since we're in a bear situation, we want to look for, where is it going to retrace back into before a downward movement? What higher time frame levels can we pull off of to kind of endorse a downward idea? And I'll be darned, man. This is a 4 hour order block right here from pretty far back there. This guy. This is the real order block for this. So maybe this is a propulsion block because it's inside of an order block. But this little bar right here has been very key. It's shown a lot of different types of actions in that zone. So I'm going to leave it there. Cool. And right now it's coming back up to it again. All right. So let's see where we're at. So look at what we got here. Let me see if this is a breaker that we're coming into. Not quite. Not on the 4 hour chart. It might be a breaker on the 1 hour chart, but not a breaker. It's kind of free to fall through here. But what we do notice on the 4 hour chart, right, is what did we just make on the 4 hour chart? We made a breaker here. You could even say it's from this one. All right, low, high, higher, high, or high, low, higher, high. This is a good little formation here, though. So this is the one that's furthest down. So this maybe has and the opening prices are about the same. So we could zoom that in. This is an important area. It's also designated by this new day opening gap from 811. So that's something to think about. So it could reach that. Even now, man, that seems like such a long off retracement. Cause we got another breaker right here coming up, and this is a fair value gap now inside of a breaker leg, which was just made by this down close candle. And then now we have another breaker right here, which has not quite been verified. If this gets wicked, then that's a breaker. So now we're looking, good retracement would be back into this fair value gap. Okay. And I think I'm good on this back fair value gap over here. I think we got some other levels to play off of now. So I'm actually going to delete, that's on the 1 hour chart. I'm going to delete that bad boy, clean things up a little bit, because we got this fair value gap. We got a lot of action in here already. A lot of things to gauge here. Cool. So that's a 4 hour chart. Again, you get 2 4 hour candles in a day. These are them. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Okay, so now we could see we got that 1 hour fair value gap here. This doesn't look so convincing. This is still a breaker though. Or no, that's not. That's not really. I'm not really feeling that side of things. But on the 4 hour chart, you could see it was another breaker. So that is something to think about. We want to check sensitivity in here, check sensitivity in here. And this is the areas I really like, is the fair value gaps inside of a breaker. So this is kind of the same thing on the 4 hour chart. This would be 1 hour fair value gap inside of a breaker. So just areas to look into. And I'm just going to see where these lines are coming off of, because I'm really going to try to aggressively clean my charts up just a little bit more. These are these highs. I'm going to delete those. I don't feel like they're necessary anymore at this point. I was probably doing that for a smaller move, to gauge a smaller move or something. But anyways, cool. I think that's good for now on the cleanup. We got some new day opening gaps. This is that one. Let's see what this is. This is supposed to be a 1 hour. What is this? Is this a 4 hour fair value gap? Yeah, that's a 4 hour fair value gap. So I'm actually going to put this one in green. And bear with me here, guys. This might be interesting too, as we go over though how I plan to clean up my charts. And then right here, this is a kind of a cool thing. You could add text into these, and it's just going to be a 4H BISI. Cool. And that will show up right over here, 4H BISI. Right behind the, I don't know if you could see it there, but it's there. 4H BISI. Boom. And it's trading red inside of it right now. So let's go back to the hourly chart. Let's stick to the goal, is to break down today's price movement. Price action, if you will. So right off the bat, yesterday I was talking about this 1 hour fair value gap down here, right? Because it was in a breaker, a bullish breaker. So this is the area I decided to take profit on my entry. And it was below these lows, so I thought it was a great time. And then we have some order block action above a significant run up. So I was thinking, this would be an area for it to be able to continue the bullish scenario. But you could see that idea was completely destroyed once it closed the hourly candle over here. But that's the area I took profit on. Because I felt like that could have been a solid. And then from there, a couple hours of back and forth. But overall, such a downward day. Cool. So what I do want to point to right here, and I kind of missed this on the open, is this is look at what we got here. This is a 1 hour chart, correct? So we got a breaker here on the 1 hour. All right. When did it make this breaker with this candle? and then it fed it. Okay, and then maybe we could see this a little bit better. Right around 727, we'll remember that price for an initial entry. If not, this gave us a really good retrace into that breaker. And so let's break it down. Let's go to the 15-minute chart now. But that's the higher time frame kind of ideology on the bear side. And again, we're looking at those 3 lows that were down there by the fair value gap. Right over here. I have to start remembering to use my mouse. It's way faster. About it specifically for this. So these guys, this is the liquidity right here, right inside this fair value gap, and this is where I targeted for profit, right? So this is, you see all this, right? Okay, and then up here, those are staged. Those are like perfect, like for the taking, ripe, as some may say, ripe for the taking, is something people say. These ones are a lot more staggered out. And yeah, but with that defense though, they could have came and got all these, right? But it's important to remember the context of, or just remember. Okay, so here's like what I like to remember. Okay, so what does it do on the open? And the biggest thing I like to look for: does it make a breaker on the open? And it sure does. And then it retraces right into it. Right after it makes it, it retraces right into it and leaves. Okay. It was a pretty volatile thing, but you could see this happening on the 5-minute chart pretty easily all the time. A breaker gets formed, and even you could say, hey, boom, boom, boom. That doesn't quite tick it though. There's another breaker. So there's like this messy price actually has formed breakers, bearish breakers. Look right here. This is on the 15-minute chart, so I consider these pretty strong. Boom. Let's say this one was a break. This one made this little breaker. High, low, higher, high. You could have seen that, and you could have got in on the retrace right here. Boom. And you could have done that breaker logic. Stop right here. Bam. But that's just, so that's something to think about, and something I like to watch is those breaker formations right at the open, which from my experience seem to be pretty lethal. Okay, so anyways, on the 15-minute chart, we'll just go over this. We'll widen it out. So it makes these breakers like I was talking about, leaves a fair value gap, retraces into it. You could have got in right here if you believed it was bearish. This is at 9:45, so this retracement happened at go time. 10 a.m. is whenever this started. This one started at 10:15. So this 15-minute candle was our entry candle. Even if you waited for the first 30 minutes, you would have got a great entry. Let's talk real fast right there. But yeah, that's on the 15-minute. And that puppy just cooked down. All right. You could see there's a little bit of, not even really that much resistance at that fair value. I was talking about, just decimated it. Almost fed it for another little down move, but yeah, just downward, downward, downward. Let's focus on the open, and I think that's going to be good for today. We could try to see what happened if there was a continuation entry also. That sounds interesting. So here's the day again. Here's 10 a.m. Oh, this is 10 a.m. So 10:05, you could have got in right there. All right, and that would have been the perfect entry. 5-minute fair value gap. Let's see what this closes at. You could have drawn a fib on this right as it formed. Boom. Closes directly under 50%. So if you're watching this, and let's say you're saying, okay, what's it going to do right here? Is having a hard time. This 5-minute candle is having a hard time breaking over 50% of this fair value gap right here. So you could say, closes right underneath it. Perfectly. Get in maybe. And it's right at the bottom of these breakers too. Let's just see. I think these are the lows right here, those guys. Oh, right here. So let's just draw a little vertical line. Not a trend line. Well, I don't use those. But we got this guy, maybe if I could get it to it. Boom. Right there. I think this one is actually, this is a formation of a breaker right here. High, low, higher, high. What does it do? Comes and touches that. Okay. Doesn't really get into this stuff. It does form this breaker right here. And it does serve it right on up. That's the one I was talking about earlier. High, low, higher, high. Makes the breaker with this pass. And we failed to beat the breaker. Doesn't close over 50% of this bad boy. Probably touches this order block perfectly. So there's some confluence right there. The order block right here. Bam. I'm not sure order blocks or these types of blocks. This is like an order block formation right here, and this is technically inside of this order block. So this may be propulsion block. I don't know, but it's a form of order block, I believe. Cool. And then so we got this retracement, and it leaves. And this was really the only time to get in on a downward movement on the 5-minute. Let's just see. Oh, shiitake. Okay, let's just see what happens down here. Let's say we waited till 1:30. Okay, so now we're in this big old new day, two new day opening gaps and a new week opening gap. I could technically delete those new day opening gaps, but I'm just going to leave them for now. So new week opening gap, we leave those for 5 weeks. That one's still hanging on. I'll probably just leave it anyways. Touches the top of it, touches the top of all this. This is a lot of resistance, hard to break through. And it comes down for a little weak movement there. You had to take your profit right here, or you could have drawn that fib. Actually, one thing I wanted to do was check out the real trading hours. So that was afternoon movement. That was this day on the 5-minute. We're going to go through it on the 1-minute too. Let's go to regular trading hours real quick before I forget that. Leaves the regular trading hours gap. Doesn't close it. This is the close. This was the close. The 4 p.m. close, and so it just left that gap wide open. I think we got some news tomorrow. We'll see what happens. This could just be a ruse, a cruel ruse to get people to believe it's going lower. But you know, those news events can be kind of volatile, and that's not what we want. Or it's cool to have it. I don't know. It's freaking what we depend on is volatility and people manipulating these markets, so we could kind of just jump on the backs. All right, let's check this day out in a 1 minute. And then we'll go back to and say, hey, let's look for downward targets. Let's look for upward targets. Let's look for downward resistance. And let's look. This is already kind of the one we talked about, but let's continue the day. All right, I think this tells the story a little bit better here. We get this fair value gap, rejection out of it, okay, 2 times. So you actually had plenty of time. So right here, this is at 45, so a little early, right? And actually that fair value gap kind of, and that was inside of a breaker, but I believe once it made the breaker, it's not coming back up. But here we go. Anyways, it bounced off of that. Gave you a good opportunity to get in again. Let's just check this out. I like to do a little order block study on the 1 minute. Let's just say you're looking at this and you get this last green up close candle. Order block is made right there. And you could say, like, so here you're looking at this. It rejected off at once, but now it's back up here in prime time. Shoulders just twitching. In prime time, okay? And it's 10:09. Let's see what's up. You can see, oh, dang, this one failed to, get into this final fair value gap. All right, is that the 10? That's the first presented fair value gap too, by the way. Came up to it, kissed it, and closed underneath it. That's a good tell. Okay, so now let's check out. Okay, so now we got the first presented fair value gap. All right. Honestly, failure to close a new day, the real-time hour gap. So now we got this order block here to study. And when does it become an order block? It becomes an order block as soon as this candle passes it. And then, so if you say that, okay, it's leaving again. After it closed over this fair value gap, now you got an inversion fair value gap. This could have been a great entry right here also into this order block entry. Okay. Could have been your entry, because this might be even a little bit too scary, this big candle coming up in this fair value gap. But once it closes and rejects, and then now you get this chance to get into it, or if you don't get in on this inversion fair value gap, you could say, okay, where's the order block to this last leg? It'd be this one. Let's just draw a fib on this whole candle real quick, just because I'm curious. These don't even close over halfway of that candle. So I just did that for fun. That's not really protocol. But we can draw one over there for value gap. Okay, so they closed over 50%, but inversion fair value gap, could have just put your stop leg right here. I mean, there's an inversion fair value gap. The technical rule would be right here, pretty close to that. But order block entry right here. Let's just see here. What else do we got cooking? Cooking. Some people got this long. I don't know. I like to go with the volatility, and since we had those 3 lows, and the upside wasn't looking as juicy as the downside, especially after it's kind of pushing pretty far down here. I was like, huh. And then, so once you get this break past this, this is a retracement into this fair value gap. That leaves another one. Yeah, it doesn't look any better on the 5 minutes. It's a hard move to catch, man. It's a hard move to catch. We got the new day opening gap. Doesn't touch the bottom of this new day opening gap from 7:30. Unfortunately, I'm going to delete this. I'd like to throw one little order block study in there at least. Cool. This can, like, it's so heavy, man. Because it did end up, it actually bounced off of, this is an hourly fair value gap right here, one of them. It bounced off the hourly fair value gap, logical retracement point, bottom of the day opening gap. Did it? No, it didn't quite touch that. No, it did. But that's not even a breaker. Not really. But if you use this whole leg as a breaker, then, which doesn't count, doesn't actually work. So even this retracement would have been sketchy. You got some volatility. You would have to say that it's going to stop right here. But yeah, and then it just continues. But actually, so right here, I mean, if you got this retracement, you don't know how high it's going to go back up. But these lows that were stacked up into this fair value gap were just ripe. I wonder if we could get them in the frame. Nope, can't do it on the 1 minute. Oh well. But there's you could go back and look at it. We showed them several times. So catching that, boom. On the 1 minute, it just showed some resistance right here a little bit on this 1 hour breaker. Kind of faked you. I thought it might actually retrace and rebound up there. I didn't take a trade after the first one, but whatever. All right. And then, so now we're working down past, it's still 10:30. No stop run occurred, really significant that I'm aware of. Just continue to go down. Here's 11:30. Did 11:30 take any stops? Not really. They left them all. But we are on the downside of this 1 hour fair value gap right here, so it's kind of pinging off the bottom. Pinged off at 50%, pinged off the bottom. Or 25%, pinged off the bottom. So you could have even just got on that basis. It's kind of staging it. And just continues to run down. 130 comes, maybe the high of this. But yeah, it kind of just got a little bit back and forth right here. And leaves us kind of just meandering for the rest of the day. Huge downward movement. That's what maybe you could expect. Let's go back up to the hour and let's just close this day out. Good stuff though. There is a real-time trading hour gap up there. At the opening price, right above this, from here, I think, to here, about. Anyways, let's try to bring a little bit more of this chart in. We got staged highs up here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a run up here. What's this blue fair value gap? What's this thing coming off of? It's coming off of this guy. These are daily fair value gap markers. All right. So we got all these staged highs up here. That's not even really too far away from the market. But we do run into this 4-hour breaker right here, / 1 hour breaker. Something to be considering. What does it do right here? That's something to watch. This is a low we have not taken. Have we taken that low yet? Shoot. I'm not sure. I don't think we have. We just came down to about right here. That's halfway into that 4-hour. No, we haven't taken this low. But it starts to get pretty darn spaced out. And after we're taking all of these, we're talking about maybe a potentially sustained rundown, I want to say. Just because we're forming all of these 1-hour breakers, dude. What do we run into right here, though? This is this kind of like, this could be considered a breaker. So right in this zone. And that's something I want to maybe shade. We've got lots of action going on here with all these lines, man. I'm going to have to delete this bad boy. We got, that's the 4-hour fair value gap. I got that even labeled. I want to really see what happens in here. So I'm actually going to draw a box, a red box. That's a green box. Maybe we'll leave it green because maybe I'm trying to figure out if it maybe give it some support in this zone is what I'm thinking right now. It's a fair value gap inside of a breaker. So I'm just going to make this as light as I can. Not that light. And then maybe I'll lock it so I can, because it's going to cover up a lot of my stuff. Cool. That way I'm not messing around with it, moving it around, and I could draw other stuff on top of it. Cool. So I want to see what it does right in this zone. And it gets it. And now we're at the top of this 4-hour fair value gap. It is labeled right there. The price is over it. It actually says $sign busy. Because I pressed shift on accident. Alright. And let's just copy this. 4-hour busy. And then we're just going to add this on all of them. This is the kind of chart organization we could appreciate. I'm going to try to do more of this cool stuff. Bam. Freaking the busy. Labeling the busy. Sounds kind of funny. Whatever. What didn't I do right here? I didn't label this green box, which I will now. Did I lock it down? How does this work? Text. This is what was this? And actually 50% kind of falls in a juicy little area. As far as there being a new day opening gap, we're going to call this 1H bullish breaker fair value gap. Cool. So that's what we're going to look down here. We're going to see that. Of course, we want to see what it does right here at this little gray area. I think that's been important for me, or has been important in the past. So we'll just see what's good. Got all these new day opening gaps, all this stuff right here, right? Maybe we'll see something cool tomorrow. I don't know. But that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. If you enjoy it, please like and subscribe. To all the people watching this. Count of 2 so far, I think. I don't know, like 4 views. We're climbing up day by day. See what happens.